Okay. Hi sis. Or I'll wait till you log on. Sorry about that. I thought that was kind of ironic because I was like, oh, if you want to know what it's like to be a business owner, things are super distracting and you have to drop one task and move to the next. So yeah, that literally just happened. As soon as I went live, we had a client walk in, so I had to just ditch my live cast and go help him out. But anyways, so yeah, here I am an hour later. This is also kind of what it's like to do design with clients, is you end up spending like a lot of time just like working through all the details, and that's how I really have honed my eye for design and color and proportion, silhouette, all of these things that I have been talking about in my live series. I've really like honed it in doing art framing, because with art framing you see the art laid out and then you see like how color and proportion all works to really change the overall presentation of your art. So it's really cool. That's how I also got into personal styling. It was through art framing. I realized just like that I work really well with, thank you Dana, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you for watching my live series. So yeah, I realized like through art framing and working one-on-one with clients and just really going through kind of all of the details that this is kind of, I guess, a skill that I had, was to really help people to understand design and understand how things work to change the way things look in the end result, the way things look visually. So that's pretty much like all of the framework for this. If I didn't own an art framing store, I might never have known that I loved to do like personal styling, and that I really like to help people to understand design. And that's also where I kind of got my initial feedback. So anyways, sorry you guys had to wait for an hour for the live series. Today's topic is accessories. Okay, before I get into today's topic, I want to kind of announce something that kind of resulted from yesterday's topic. So I had a question that I realized I didn't quite understand the full answer to it. So the question is just shopping for plus size clothing, I guess. I don't know if that's like just like when you have maybe something that's really hard to find, and I kind of had like, depending on like, yeah, your body shape or what's kind of available in whatever part of the world you're in. So I kind of want to better understand that, because I also was kind of confronted with the fact that I don't really understand too much what it's like to not be able to find clothing that fits you, or not being able to find like quality clothing for like the price that you can pay. So I'm actually going to do a challenge, and also just be an advocate too for different body types and different sizes, and all body types, all different sizes. And I'm going to go shopping, and I'm going to try and find, I mean, you guys can tell me what I should do, but I'm going to try and find size 20 clothing, because I want to know what it's really like if you are a larger size, like size 20 or plus, like what's out there for you. And because I've realized some of my expectations were maybe a little bit unfair. If you like, I mean, I think people agree like fast fashion isn't necessarily good for the environment, or good for like the quality of clothing in general. But what if that's kind of all that's available to you, depending on how your body is shaped? So if you want me to go out and try and shop for a specific body type, like comment it, because I will go out and this is my plan, to go out and look for size 20 plus for women. And I'm going to start high end and then kind of work my way down to discount retailers like Marshalls and Ross. And so I just want to see really like what's available to women of all shapes and sizes, so that when I'm confronted with a question like, how do you shop when things don't fit? How do you find things that work for you? Like if it's not necessarily available, and maybe, I don't know, even just take a stance for the fact that it is kind of unfair that, like I did in my body image as well, that, you know, I am kind of aware that they don't design clothes for all different shapes of women. They design essentially for a mannequin with no butt or a flat stomach. So yeah, if you want me to look for a certain body type, you're welcome to contribute, but for now I'm going to just kind of do kind of analysis of the type of quality that's available at a larger size, and if it really is like available. And also so I kind of got feedback from my talk yesterday that also plus size clothing tends to be a lower quality. So this is what I was informed of from feedback. So I kind of want to see for myself and start to kind of maybe be an advocate for all different qualities of clothing available to all different. So Brittany, I mean, there are different categories of body types, how they kind of define it mainstream. Like people can be familiar with like using fruit as an analogy, like an apple or a pear, or I guess those are the two main ones. But the answer is that there are an infinite number of body types. Everyone's body is different, and so, you know, it's not necessarily fair. I mean, categorizing is kind of a way to maybe try and figure out how to work with your shape according to the silhouette of clothing. But yeah, the reason why I'm going out and going shopping and doing this kind of live exercise is because I want to see if it is kind of I've been kind of faced with this challenge that there's like not enough available if you are like size like as large or like a size like even size 14 and above, but I'm gonna pick a high number of like size 20 and above, so just to see like how it goes. So that is gonna be Thursday. It's gonna be a series of 3 lives back to back one afternoon, where I'm gonna start at Neiman Marcus because it has kind of a high-end range of clothing I'm gonna see, and then I'm going to probably go to Macy's, and then I'm gonna go, because Macy's is kind of the middle range of clothing, and then I'm gonna go to either Ross or Marshall's and just kind of do a little bit of underground research and see kind of what's available. So there's that kind of like little announcement about my special little investigation live as an advocate for all shapes and sizes and all body types. So now back to today's topic. So accessories are, let me pull up my notes. What are accessories? So they are essentially just the addition to an outfit. So they're meant to complement an outfit, or, you know, just add something more to an outfit, or even finalize or complete an outfit. They can do a lot to change an outfit, which I'm going to talk through all of that. The accessories kind of fall into a couple categories. Thank you, sis. Thanks for the applause. I'm hoping that I can, you know, spread the word, because that's part of why I'm doing this, is I really want to be, you know, just raising some topics, raising some discussions about the fashion industry, and start to look for solutions now on a small scale, but of course, hopefully on a bigger scale. So thanks, sis, for the applause. I do really care. So anyways, back to accessories. So accessories can be worn or held. Throughout some examples of accessories, there are so many. So purses and handbags, jewelry like earrings, necklaces, bracelets, watches, rings, anklets, bangles, teeth embellishments even as an accessory, or like a grill. I don't know why I've always wanted a grill, because I used to drive a Cadillac, so I was like, oh, I want to be like even more gangster. So, but that counts. Piercings, anything that, yeah, belly button rings or nose piercings, eyebrow rings, hats, scarves, umbrellas, parasols, fans, belts, gloves, suspenders, lanyards, anything that, you know, adds to the outfit, socks and tights and eyewear, sunglasses, so, crowns, headbands. Do you guys think I missed any types of accessories? Pins and brooches. A girl is definitely minimal. Yeah, well, you know, there's a spectrum of minimalism. But at the same time, I do not necessarily have one. It's just, I've kind of wanted one. Let's see. Okay, so, a walking stick could be an accessory. If you want to go throughout history, you could even go like to like scepters or a sword. Like these, anything that adds to your outfit or gives a certain mood. Bow ties, I saw Britt was on here. Wigs are an accessory. So yeah, some accessories do have a certain connotation, like wedding ring, for example, or like this idea of like a blue collar tie, like men wearing tie for work, like symbolizes like professional. So those are just kind of a couple examples of how, like maybe how accessories could have a connotation. I'll go into a little bit when I talk about the materials. So it's kind of like, you know, maybe in the past, throughout history, accessories could really be representative of wealth or status, but we're lucky now in this day and age that you can be chic and wear all different types of jewelry, and it's not necessarily gonna affect you too much if you wear like fake materials or plastic jewelry. It's just kind of about the overall look that you're going for. So it goes back to what I said about making a statement, and accessories are kind of great for that as well. Like if you want, you can kind of make a statement with accessories. Like bags and handbags are kind of good examples. Like some people use like designer names on bags, or a lot of designers will have like their logo or something on a bag, or even like a belt, or even earrings. And so it's kind of, you could use like the fact that you shop designer to make a statement. Or I mean, these are just all different ways that the connotation of an accessory can kind of mean something, if that's something that you care about. I tend to like to have some designer pieces, but if I end up, I don't have as much designer, but if I shop designer, I would hope that I pick a designer that their whole aesthetic really works for me. Let's see. So one kind of interesting difference with accessories compared to fabrics and clothing is that fabrics and clothing tend to be more easily, they can degrade because they are a natural fiber, unless it's like polyester. Of course, that degrades slower, but why I mention this, so like a natural fiber is more susceptible to the humidity and conditions, even like that allow it to kind of wear and tear over time. So this relates to accessories in that you can sometimes have some really unique pieces if you have like heirlooms, or you shop in like vintage stores. You can find sometimes really, really old pieces of jewelry, and that could even be like something within like your style that you relate to, or if it's like a family heirloom or something, it gives you a little bit more history and a little bit more maybe meaning in that sense. The other cool thing about most of like the vintage jewelry that I like and that I would look for and collect is that I love that you can often find things that are made by hand or made with like real metals. Like a lot of jewelry nowadays is glued together or made by a machine. So shopping vintage or old, like, it might not even necessarily be that expensive. I mean, of course it can be depending on where you shop, but sometimes you can find something really unique made by hand with like shopping like kind of in antique stores or looking for older stuff, or even just like inheriting it from like someone in your family. So yeah, onto materials. I was going to throw out there, if anyone wants to come live with me and talk about crystals and pendants and stones and stuff like that. I'm not super informed, but about all of the like the characteristics of like crystals and stones. I know there's kind of a lot to that for some people, that they like kind of, because it's something that comes from the earth, and some stones, you know, go through different biochemical reactions, so like geology or whatever. So there's like that kind of interesting quality about materials that come from the earth. And then there are also definitely people that I know and that really are, you know, they love to wear stones and crystals because they have a certain energy or even a magical quality like to them. So if anyone ever wants to go live and share some information about that, I was gonna just throw that out there. For me, yeah, the colors of certain stones are what I really resonate with, and even like the feel and the weight of things, all things that you can think about, and when you choose kind of how you want to adorn yourself, essentially. Let's see, so yeah, all the materials and everything can all relate. And then there's the whole aspect again of functionality. I think as far as like wearable, like technology and fashion, I talk a lot about, because it's something I'm really interested in seeing how, and more to get it to kind of work well together. Wearable tech ends up kind of being what most tech designs have done. The starting points like smartwatches and even like the Google glasses, or just like, so wearable tech is like an interesting thing to explore. Headphones, all these things are accessories that kind of allow you to stay connected and maybe even have some like freedom away from your cell phone, or so like, yeah, the functionality of accessories is something that you can look for. For me, I love wearing a watch. I'm not wearing my watch right now, but I love the ability to kind of just keep track of my time, but also for me, a watch has a twofold characteristic of being kind of a classic piece. So it has a certain elegance and sophistication, but it also has like that functionality of telling me the time and the date. So yeah, a little bit more on tech. You can wear a battery pack and have lights, and that could be your accessories. So all things to think about as we're moving more and more sophisticated with technology and fashion. I talk to people a lot about, well, what is there still a way to like be like a light show and get away from that battery pack? If anyone has an answer for me for that, I'm really curious, because I've talked to people that do set up like light strings and stuff in their outfits, but there's always that kind of crutch of having a battery pack and having maybe only a certain number of hours that you can be a light show. So just more things to think about. These are the types of conversations that I have with people. Like, just give me the tech magic. I've also had a recent conversation that fashion and technology is not really going to work because there's too much of kind of a disconnect, and so I'm curious if anyone has an argument for me on that one. It's really a hard thing to do something, combine something artistic with something really that requires a lot of functionality and kind of a lot of things to work and function right, but also not have it be too bulky or distracting from the body, and also be something that people actually want to adopt into like their wardrobe, essentially, or into their lifestyle. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about balancing accessories. So silhouette, I talked about silhouette is a good example of this. So accessories can really change your silhouette, and probably the two most obvious type of accessories that change your silhouette are hats and bags. So just imagine yourself as the silhouette only, wearing a wide-brimmed hat and a bag. You have kind of this exaggerated silhouette shape now. So all things to kind of consider in how you want to dramatize a look. You can do a lot with the shape of your bags or hats, or the shape of jewelry, or yeah, like belts can be wrapped around your waist and actually change the fold of or the drape of the fabric. Scarves, all these things can change your silhouette. It's cool to be mindful of balance also in the sense of decision making, and also back to kind of that spectrum between minimalism and maximalism. So so think of like the overall mood of your look. So my example for this is I wear a lot of tailored clothing. Basically, my friends can call it my uniform, is that I wear kind of this oversized blazer with big pockets so I can put all my scissors and pencils and do it while I'm designing things, and I kind of wear like a baggy sweater underneath and pants. So it's kind of like, it could be like a little bit of like an elegant look if I pair it with like pearl necklace or like very classic jewelry, like or rhinestones, or just like something simple. And like, I mean, a pearl necklace is the biggest kind of example of something elegant and classic. What I usually like to do is, because I want to work a little bit more edge into my look, is I like these oversized earrings, or almost like hoop earrings. It gives like a little bit more, I mean, these are kind of dangly, but they have like chains and stuff, so it gives it a little bit more, for me, a street style, or a little bit like still very feminine, but a little bit more edge, and which to me makes me feel natural, kind of in a youthful environment, also like kind of in more of like the street style, walking the streets walking around San Francisco and kind of going to multiple things, to have a little bit something that's not so elegant, but like to kind of add a little bit of edge. So that's an example of how you can really change the mood of your overall look depending on your choice of accessories, especially if you are adopting a pretty minimal color palette, or just minimal wardrobe in general. Like, that's kind of a way you can really shift it and make it edgy, or busy, or just more bold, or yeah, you can do stuff like that. So back a little bit more to balance. So balance is kind of a lot to achieve the look you want. So like an example of this would be, some people, I mean, I've yet to meet anybody who doesn't at least gravitate towards one type of accessory, but some people like myself gravitate more towards like jewelry. Other people gravitate more towards like hats and scarves, and but if you want some sort of balance, you can think about, maybe if you do gravitate towards one or the other, or you can play in with your makeup as well as how you want to accentuate things. So like if you are kind of a minimal accessory type of person, but you want to kind of make a little bit more of a bold statement, you could play with like a more of a bolder or brighter or darker lip color. So it's all just like kind of how you direct the eye a certain way. So yeah, I tend to, it's the same kind of concept as if you do really heavy, darker eye makeup, you might want like a nude lip, versus you might want, if you do like a darker, brighter lip, you might want a more natural eye. It's the same thing. If you do a lot of accessories, you can play around with how the accessories like influence your makeup, or just like if you do have like a hat and scarves on, maybe you don't need as much going on for earrings. So that's kind of, for me, I always wear big earrings because that's the first accessory that I go to, and then I might not be as like extravagant unless I'm like going out and I really want to kind of go all full force with accessories. Then I layer on the jewelry, but it's, yeah, there's still like you can be all maximal and just layer everything on, but it's super fun to experiment with how different things can kind of change the way your eye goes. Like I think wearing earrings always kind of brings the attention to my face and stuff, so, and like my hair, so that's kind of like why I like to do it, especially because sometimes I wear like oversized clothes. So for me, like I don't know, I don't know why, I just kind of like this look of just being almost like all in black, but then my face is a little bit more brighter, and just all ways that you can think about it with accessories. So any questions or anything? I think that's about kind of my overall discussion on accessories. They're super fun, and they are in a sense like an embellishment or an adornment. So there's plenty that you can do with them, and if you want to really kind of funnel in on what you like and stuff, it's also the same kind of processes that I've outlined before, like a wardrobe edit you can apply to your accessories, but they do take up less space, so sometimes it's nice to have a little bit more variety. That's also one more thing with accent colors work really well for accessories, because you can have kind of a small, maybe even like a smaller actual object, putting in that little pop of color that adds like something like into the look, so it's not super overpowering, but it adds like that little bit of dimensionality. Accessories can add a lot of dimensionality to a look, especially if you're layering over different garments. You can add just a lot of different things in different places to direct where the eye goes. So that's my talk on accessories. I have like, I have a lot left. I still have like 8 talks before I finish my 25 days. So I'm gonna, from here on out, I'm just gonna be, yeah, throwing out the concepts: luxury, modern, what it means to be modern, how you can be modern but still timeless, like all these other things. We're gonna get deep, but yeah, first of all, like Thursday is the day I'm gonna go shopping, and I'm gonna stand up and be an advocate for women of all shapes and sizes. And I want to know what it is like to have, maybe not be able to find what you want when you shop. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's Thursday. Tomorrow, I don't remember what the topic is tomorrow. I think, yeah, there are too many, but anyways, I'm just rambling. Let me just get off of this live thing already before I never leave and I just stay live 24 hours a day. All right, thank you everyone.